Let us go back to the first response, the Madonna of sorrow and suffering and anguish, human anxiety, human pity, divine pity receives from the nether depths, from the lower regions. It is the voice of a Titan who himself was once a god. He has fallen into the abyss and has become his own opposite. He is revolting in a certain sense what is being done to him by God himself, and he is narrating his account, his suffering, his misery, how he is being tortured in this creation. He is the man of sorrows. Now, before we see this man of sorrows here, we have the mention of this man of sorrows in the Mother's prayers and meditations, which is very revealing, very poignant also. And it so happens that this is a prayer Mother had offered to the Divine on 22nd February 1914. Mother is also telling about her childhood experience. At that time, the mother was just 23 years old when she had this prayer written down, but the experience goes back to a much earlier period when she was 13 years. When I was a child of about 13, for nearly a year, every night, as soon as I had gone to bed, it seemed to me that I went out of my body and rose straight up above the house, then above the city, very high above. Then I used to see myself clad in a magnificent golden robe, much longer than myself. And as I rose higher, the robe would stretch, spreading out in a circle around me to form a kind of immense roof over the city. The robe itself would look like a roof for the city. Then I would see men, women, children, old men, the sick men, the unfortunate coming out from every side. They would gather under the outspread robe, begging for help, telling of their miseries, their suffering, their hardships. In reply, the robe, supple and alive, would extend towards each one of them individually, and as soon as they had touched it, they were comforted or healed, and went back into their bodies happier and stronger than they had come out of them. Nothing seemed more beautiful to me. Nothing could make me happier, and all the activities of the day seemed dull and colorless and without any real life. Beside this activity of the night, which was the true life for me. Often, while I was rising up in this way, I used to see at my left an old man, silent and still, who looked at me with kindly affection and encouraged me by his presence. This old man, dressed in a long, dark purple robe, was the personification, as I came to know later, of him who is called the Man of Sorrows. Now, that deep experience, that almost inexpressible reality, is translated in my mind by other ideas which I may describe in this way. Many a time in the day and night, it seems to me that I am, or rather my consciousness is, concentrated entirely in my heart, which is no longer an organ, but not even a feeling, but the divine love, impersonal, eternal. And being this love, I feel myself living at the center of each thing upon the entire earth. And at the same time, I seem to stretch out immense, infinite arms and envelop with a boundless tenderness all beings, clasped, gathered, nestled on my breast that is vaster than the universe. Words are poor and clumsy. O Divine Master, and mental transcriptions are always childish. But my aspiration to Thee is constant, and truly speaking, it is very often Thou, and Thou alone, who livest in this body, this imperfect means of manifesting Thee. May all beings be happy in the peace of Thy illumination. This is the mother's experience at the age of 23, and it went on, at the age of 13, narrated 10 years later, almost the same, and it went on almost about 1 year. She says here, I seem to stretch out immense, infinite arms and envelop with a boundless tenderness all beings, clasped, gathered, nestled, that is vaster than the universe. Love, vaster than the universe. In Savitri we have a line, her love could take, the whole universe could take refuge in a single heart. The whole universe could take refuge in a single heart. Her love was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in a single heart. Now, it is this Man of Sorrows who is all the while toiling, all the while working hard but meets no success in life. Therefore, there is despair in his heart, there is anguish, there is misery. And this is the response of that man to the mother of pity, who was addressing to Savitri that she is one who is bearing the cross of this creation. And also she says that I know that one day he shall come at last and relieve me of this misery and suffering. I am the man of sorrows. I am he who is nailed on the white cross of the universe. To enjoy my agony, God built the earth. My passion he has made his tremors theme. He has sent me naked into his bitter world and beaten me with the rods of grief and pain, that I might cry and grovel at his feet and offer him worship with my blood and tears. I am Prometheus under the vulture's beak, man the discoverer of the undying fire. I bring gift of heaven to man, and what do I get in return? Punishment, torture. The vultures keep on coming and eating my flesh. Under the vulture's beak, man the discoverer of the undying fire. In the flame he kindled burning like a moth. I am the seeker who can never find. I am always looking for something, some solace, some happiness, some comfort, some ease in life, but I can never get that. I am the fighter who can never win. That is my frustration. I toil, I struggle, I put in every kind of effort, but I meet no success. I am the runner who never touched his goal. Even as I start running on the racetrack, the finish line is being shifted constantly farther and farther away from me. I cannot really ever touch the finish line. I am the runner who never touched his goal. Hell tortures me with the edges of my thought. Heaven tortures me with the splendor of my dreams. Even my own dreams have become instruments of torture for me. What profit have I of my human soul? Why do I struggle here? What do I gain here then? I am man the rebel, man the helpless serf. Fate and my fellows cheat me of my ways. I loosen with my blood my servitude's seal, and shake from my aching neck the oppressor's knees, only to seat new tyrants on my back. I throw away one tyrant, the other comes and sits on my back. My teachers lesson me in slavery. I am shown God's stamp and my own true signature upon the sorry contract of my fate. Yes, this is what you have signed. You have no business to grumble. You have no business to complain. This is a contract you have already made yourself. Then why you are complaining? I am shown God's stamp. His seal is there on the contract. I have loved, but none has loved me since my birth. My fruit of works is given to other hands. I sow the seeds, but the fruit is taken away. The grain is taken away by somebody else. The harvest is reaped by somebody else. My fruit of works is given to other hand. All that is left me is my evil thoughts, my sordid quarrel against God and man, envy of the riches that I cannot share, hate of a happiness that is not mine. I know my fate will ever be the same. There doesn't seem to be any remedy for my fate, because the seal is already there. God's seal is there on it. It is my nature's work that cannot change. I have loved for mine, not for the beloved's sake. That is my possessive nature. It is not for somebody else's sake that I am doing anything. It is for my own sake, my own love, my own ambition. I have loved for myself and not for others' lives. Each in himself is soul by nature's law. So God has made his harsh and dreadful world. So has he built the petty heart of man. Only by force and ruse can man survive. That is the only way by which he can exist here, by ruse, by manipulation, by wicked acts, so to say. He survives here. For pity is a weakness in his breast. The moment you start pitying somebody, you are attacked, you are eaten up, you are swallowed. His goodness is a laxity in the nerves. His kindness an investment for return. His altruism is ego's other face. He served the world that him the world may serve. If one the Titan's strength could wake in me, if Enceladus from Etna could arise, Enceladus was pushed under the Etna mountain. But if he can rise from that, I then would reign the master of the world, and like a god enjoy man's bliss and pain. But God has taken from me the ancient force, the force which are there in me when I was a Titan. Before becoming a Titan god, that force has been taken away from me. But God has taken from me the ancient force. There is a dull consent in my sluggish heart, a fierce satisfaction with my spatial pangs, as if they made me taller than my kind. Only by suffering can I excel. I can become better, so to say, only by suffering. I am the victim of titanic ills. I am the doer of demoniac deeds. I was made for evil. Evil is my lot. Evil I must be, and by evil live. That is my fate. Not other can I do but be myself. What nature made me, that I must remain. I suffer and toil and weep. I suffer and toil and weep. I mourn and hate. And Savitri heard the echo, heard the voice, and Savitri heard the voice. The echo heard, and turning to her being of pity, spoke. Madonna of suffering, mother of grief divine, Dayamayi, divine, grief divine, thou art my portion, thou art a portion of my soul, put forth to bear the unbearable sorrow of the world. It is You, it is I as a part of it in you, to bear the unbearable sorrow for the world. Because thou art, men yield not their due, men yield not to their doom. They can withstand the suffering because you are present there to bear the suffering of man. But ask for happiness and strive with faith, because thou art, the wretched still can hope. But thine the power to solace, not to save. You can give consolation. You can smoothen their agony to some extent, but you cannot save them from doom. One day I will return, a bringer of strength. Pity without strength is of no use. I will come back and bring strength for you. One day I will return, a bringer of strength, and make thee drink from the eternal cup. His streams of force shall triumph in thy limb, and wisdom shall calm control thy passionate heart. His streams of force shall flow in your veins, and there will be wisdom, and in the calmness of that wisdom, your passions will become calm. Thy love shall be the bond of humankind, compassion the bright king of nature's acts. Misery shall pass abolished from the earth. When I come back, then there will be no more misery upon earth. Misery shall pass abolished from the earth. The world shall be freed from the anger of the beast, from the cruelty of the titan and the pain. World will become free now when I come back with strength. The world shall be free from the anger of the beast, the vital force which is ruling here, the titanic force which is ruling over the world. World shall be freed from that, from the cruelty of the titan and his pain. There shall be peace and joy forevermore.